This is the stat pad for all stat pads right here. Take a look.
Brink, pass ahead, and Angel Reese. Easy lay.
It's a 7-point game. There are 18 seconds left. All the Atlanta Dream has to do is dribble out the shot clock.
Pass ahead.
Boom, pass it ahead to Angel Reese. Okay, makes sense. I don't want to get fat. I'll pass it ahead to Angel Reese, and we'll burn out the rest of the game clock. Okay. But Angel Reese knows. She's like, oh, man, I got 9 points. I've been shooting 3 for 13 up until this point. Damn. I got 26 rebounds, and I don't even have a double. Oh, shit. How can I try to make this seem? I'm going to stat pad. I'm going to cherry pick. I'm going to stat pad, and I'm going to get this easy.
Brink, pass ahead, and Angel Reese. Easy lay.
That right there is why this 26 rebound game instantly became controversial. The number is historic. The final possession is what has people arguing. Because there's a huge difference between saying Angel Reese grabbed a record 26 rebounds and saying every part of the performance deserves to be celebrated the same way. And when you watch how she got the basket that pushed her to 11 points, with the game essentially decided and the clock almost gone, you can understand why critics immediately started using one word: stat padding. But that final basket is actually the easy part of this debate. The more interesting question comes when you go rebound by rebound, because later we're going to get into what people are calling rebounds, uncontested boards, missed box outs, and whether a rebound should somehow count less just because nobody challenged you for it.
Much to me, Angel Reese finished with 11 points and a WNBA record 26 rebounds. Whoa! Including 8 offensive boards. A tremendous rebounding effort, but context matters. The Sparks entered the game 13-23 and has only one bona fide big in Cam Brink. I'm going to do a video on Cam Brink later today, probably on the Quick Hits channel. Reese also had to goal hang for her final basket to reach 11 points and secure the double-double. And if officials consistently called her lowered shoulder pushes and elbows, I am...
Now put the emotion aside for a second. 11 points, 26 rebounds, 8 of those on the offensive glass. Whatever you think about Angel Reese, 26 rebounds next to one player's name is an absurd box score number. That is exactly why this conversation gets messy. You can criticize the circumstances without pretending the rebounds disappeared, and that's the tension hanging over this entire performance. Is this evidence of an elite rebounder taking advantage of every opportunity available? Or does the film show a stat line that looks considerably more impressive than the actual difficulty of the rebounds? Those are two completely different arguments, and people keep mixing them together.
He goes into these ethical hoops, ethical rebounding, unethical rebounding. So Angel Reese is used to stat pad. We remember her rookie season against the Dream, coincidentally, against the Storm, against the Liberty. We've seen her stat pad quite a few times. In fact, the stat padding is what got...
The stat padding criticism also didn't appear out of nowhere after one possession. The commentator is framing this as part of a longer pattern and pointing back to Reese's rookie season. Now, whether you agree with that interpretation or not, that history matters because reputations change the way people see new evidence. Once fans believe somebody hunts statistics, every late rebound becomes suspicious. Every missed shot followed by an offensive board becomes another joke. Every uncontested defensive rebound becomes evidence for something bigger, and that can become unfair very quickly. Because rebounding has never required every possession to look like two centers fighting through 3 bodies under the rim. Some rebounds are contested, some come directly to you. Some happen because you read the shot correctly, some happen because teammates are already leaking out in transition. And yes, sometimes they happen because the other team simply did a terrible job attacking the glass. The real question isn't whether Reese collected easy rebounds. Every high-volume rebounder does. The question is whether this particular 26 rebound total contains so many low-resistance opportunities that the record itself needs additional context. That's where the film breakdown gets interesting.
Little first quarter stat padding. How about some rebounds? Sorry, can't count it. I guess in the WNBA we don't count lane violations. Nope. She's cheated.
Damn.
She just doesn't box anyone out and jumps -2 inches. Nope. And on this play, she just decides not to play defense, cherry picks in the paint, and then hunts a rebound without jumping. Unethical. This play lollygagging on defense, then swipes a rebound from your teammate. Is that ethical? No. You know what? Sometimes you just gotta throw a dog a bone. Here, have that one. I'm just an unbiased spectator. No one else in the WNBA wants to rebound, so no, unethical. And flying off the screen because she was cherry picking, not getting back on defense. No! It's rebound propaganda. Nobody else goes for this rebound. No! Their team threw it right to her. They are in on the propaganda. No! Sneaky and get a quick stab pad right.
This is the part that made the video spread, because the joke works precisely because the clips look so casual. No box out, nobody really challenging. Another ball falling into her area, a teammate nearby, Reese collecting it and moving on. The narrator keeps declaring them unethical, but obviously there is no official category called an unethical rebound. The box score doesn't ask whether you jumped high enough. It doesn't ask whether 3 players contested you. It doesn't deduct half a rebound because the opponent gave up on the play. If you secure possession after a missed field goal, you get the rebound, but film can tell you something the box score can't, how difficult that rebound actually was. And that distinction matters when people use one huge total to make broader claims about dominance. 26 boards sounds like somebody spent the entire night physically overwhelming everybody around the basket. The criticism here is that several possessions don't look anything like that. They look like positioning, opportunity, and, occasionally, everybody else deciding the possession is over before Reese does. That doesn't make the rebound fake, it changes what the rebound tells you. And there is another layer people miss. If opponents repeatedly fail to box out one of the most rebound-focused players in the league, whose failure is that? Reese's for taking the ball, or theirs for letting her have it? You can laugh at the free-bound jokes, but if nobody stops you from collecting free rebounds, you would be ridiculous not to take them.
Before the end of the quarter. Haha, you ain't slick, dog. You didn't really box out anyone here, and no one else really went for the ball, so no. You got away with a misdemeanor on the push in the back. You think that's ethical? No one else around and no one else contesting for it.
Oh yeah, did we push in the back? Let me see that. Oh damn, look at Cam Brink on the floor.
Oh, no. You got away with a misdemeanor on the push in the back. You think
Move,
that's
Cam,
ethical?
you bum!
No one else around and no one else contesting for it. We're seeing a pattern here. These are the rebounds big media doesn't want you to see. Me-bound! 26 rebounds. She's probably dumping out of the gym, right? No! Me bounce. Unethical! Burn! No one contesting, no one to box out. Rebound propaganda. Another uncontested rebound. Look at everybody scatter. This is ridiculous. No! As an unbiased reporter, I will say, okay, rebound, but you smoked the layup, so I don't know. We'll go a half point each, and this one, sure, you can have another. Now, what did we learn from this exercise? All these rebounds.
Now the breakdown starts separating several different types of possessions. One involves contact in the back. Another involves nobody contesting at all. Another is an offensive rebound after Reese misses around the rim, and those shouldn't all be treated as the same criticism. If there's an illegal push that officials miss, that is an officiating issue. If Reese grabs her own miss, that is a legitimate offensive rebound, even if the original finish was poor. And if the ball drops directly toward her while every other player is already running up the floor, that still counts because she stayed and secured it. The mistake would be taking all of those situations and turning them into one sweeping conclusion. The film does support one thing pretty clearly. A large rebound total does not automatically mean 26 separate moments of spectacular rebounding. But that has always been true. Dennis Rodman didn't need to dunk after every board for the rebound to count. Centers throughout basketball history have accumulated plenty of routine defensive rebounds simply by being where the ball was going to land. Rebounding is partly physical, but it is also anticipation, positioning, role, and repetition. The reason Reese creates so much debate is because her style makes the ugly parts impossible to ignore. She attacks the glass constantly. That means you also see the missed layups, awkward finishes, physical contact, balls that practically land in her hands, and possessions where teammates could have grabbed the same rebound. Her strongest skill creates more opportunities for people to examine her weakest moments. And that makes her box scores almost uniquely easy to turn into internet arguments.
Always bring a smile on our faces. Let's take a look at some of these comments, shall we? I'm sure they're completely fine. First, it was the me bound. Now it's the free bound. Oh, that's good. The free bound. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. Me bound, pray up, butter pecan, pay. I swear no one in the WNBA knows how to block out or contest rebounds. Everyone just stands around. And if the ball happens to fall into their hands, hey, I got a rebound. Damn, Angel breaking ribs with those elbows. She doesn't even try to hide those elbows backing into the rim, does she? Nor is she ever called for it. Her teammates don't even try because she'll probably...
And once the comments get involved, nuance disappears immediately. Me bound becomes free bound. People joke that teammates have stopped pursuing rebounds. Others accuse Reese of getting away with elbows or contact underneath. Those are reactions, not established facts. There's no evidence in this transcript that teammates were actually instructed to leave rebounds for Reese, and there's no basis to present a joke in a comment section as proof of what happens inside the locker room. But those comments do reveal something important about public perception. Fans aren't just watching Angel Reese anymore, they're auditing her. Every rebound gets reviewed, every missed shot gets clipped, every late possession becomes a referendum on whether the statistics are organic. And once an athlete reaches that point, even legitimate accomplishments struggle to exist without an argument attached to them. That's not normal criticism of one bad game, that is a credibility problem. Fair or unfair, a noticeable group of viewers no longer sees a big Reese stat line and immediately accepts the number at face value. They want to know how she got there.
Bitch about not getting more rebounds. That's probably true. That's probably. Hey guys, stop going after the boards. I got them. Hey, stop chasing down the rebounds. I got them. Hey, let them come to me. Hey, stop chasing down the rebounds. Hey, I need them. Hey, me bound, free bound, me bound, free bound. Hey, I need them. Hey. Need more of this. ESPN is busy promoting her rebound record. My third grade basketball coach would have benched me for the level of effort these ladies are putting into getting a rebound. But
Listen to how quickly the jokes become a theory. Stop chasing the rebounds, let Angel have them. ESPN is promoting the record. Again, the video does not provide evidence of some organized effort to manufacture a record. That leap goes far beyond what the clips prove. But this is where the media angle becomes part of the controversy. When a broadcast or social account highlights WNBA-record 26 rebounds, it is doing exactly what sports media has always done. Big numbers become headlines, records become graphics. Nobody puts an asterisk on the screen saying 7 of these were completely uncontested and 3 came with minimal effort. And honestly, they shouldn't. Statistics are statistics, but viewers now have access to every possession. They can watch the entire sequence and decide whether the headline matches what they saw. That creates a strange modern sports argument where one side says 26 rebounds is 26 rebounds, while the other says watch the tape. Both can be correct. The number can be real, and the performance can still deserve context.
StatStuffer is a glutton for punishment. He pays more attention to these WNBA games than the referees. Me-bounds are the only real rebounds. Wow. I need me-bounds to be an official stat in the WNBA and NBA. I need it like I need oxygen. That's why the eye test is so important. The vast majority of the me-bounds come down to standing in the paint, literally just wandering down there, not even concerned about where the opponents are because they can't even be bothered to try. 18 of the 26 rebounds, she didn't box out or physically touch another player, and that is being generous. It could have been 20 if you wanted to be a stickler. So 8 of the 26 rebounds were contested.
Here is probably the strongest criticism in the entire video because it attempts to move beyond jokes and actually quantify the film. The commenter claims that on 18 of the 26 rebounds, Reese did not box out or physically engage another player, and says the number could potentially be 20, depending on how strictly you judge the possessions. That is one person's film assessment, not an official WNBA stat, so it should be treated exactly that way. But suppose the basic observation is right, and a large majority of the rebounds were lightly contested. Does that invalidate 26? No. What it does is change the adjective you put in front of 26. Maybe it was less physically dominant than the raw number makes people imagine. Maybe it was more about persistence and positioning. Maybe Los Angeles simply did an awful job making Reese work for defensive rebounds. That last possibility deserves much more attention than it gets. If an opponent knows Angel Reese is hunting the glass and still sends nobody into the paint to challenge her, that is not evidence that Reese did something wrong. That is evidence of a tactical failure. A rebounder can only compete against the players the other team sends toward the basketball. You don't lose credit because the opponent refuses to participate, and this is the point where the viral ethical rebound joke stops being just a joke and starts exposing the flaw in the argument. If you create a standard where only contested rebounds prove rebounding skill, you end up punishing players for good positioning and rewarding players who put themselves in worse spots and then need athleticism to recover. Sometimes the easiest rebound is easy because you got to the correct place first. That is still basketball IQ.
Of the me-bounds come down to standing in the paint, literally just wandering down there, not even concerned about where the opponents are because they can't even be bothered to try. 18 of the 26 rebounds, she didn't box out or physically touch another player, and that is being generous. It could have been 20 if you wanted to be a stickler. So 8 of the 26 rebounds were contested.
Now we finally get to the deeper issue behind this whole argument. The criticism says Reese is often standing in the paint without boxing anybody out and simply collecting misses. But watch what that description quietly admits. She is standing where the rebounds are. That sounds obvious. It isn't. There are players with more vertical explosion who don't consistently rebound because they chase the ball late. There are taller players who lose rebounds because they never establish position. There are guards who leave early because their role is to start the break. Reese has built a huge part of her identity around remaining near the possession until the ball is secured. That persistence is a skill. The legitimate criticism is what she sacrifices while doing it. If she fails to get back defensively because she is hunting an offensive rebound, that can hurt her team. If she gives up transition opportunities because she stays underneath the rim, that trade-off matters. If she abandons defensive responsibilities to position herself for an easy board, coaches have every right to correct it. That is a basketball argument. Calling the rebound itself fake because it was easy is not. The more productive question is whether the chase for rebounds occasionally damages the possession around the rebound. And that brings us straight back to the play that started this video.
It's a 7-point game. There are 18 seconds left. All the Atlanta Dream has to do is dribble out the shot clock.
Pass ahead.
Boom, pass it to head to Angel Reese. Okay, makes sense. I don't want to get fat. I'll pass it ahead to Angel Reese, and we'll burn out the rest of the game clock. Okay. But Angel Reese knows. She's like, oh man, I got 9 points. I've been shooting 3 for 13 up until this point. Damn. I got 26 rebounds, and I don't even have a double. Oh, shit. How can I try to make this seem... I'm going to stat pad. I'm going to cherry pick.
7-point game. 18 seconds remaining. Reese had 9 points at that moment, according to the commentator, and the next basket gave her the double-double. This is where the stat padding accusation has much stronger footing than the complaints about uncontested rebounds. Why? Because now intention becomes relevant. The game situation matters. Atlanta could manage the remaining clock. Reese is already ahead of the play. She receives the pass and converts the basket that takes her into double figures. Was it illegal? Of course not. Was Atlanta required to stop playing? No. Was Reese supposed to purposely miss because scoring would create an ugly narrative? Obviously not. But fans understand basketball etiquette. When a game is effectively settled and individual milestones are within reach, players get criticized for actions that would be completely ordinary in the first quarter. That's why this possession looks different. It isn't about whether the basket counts. It's about whether reaching 10 points had become more important than the competitive purpose of the possession. We cannot know Reese's thoughts from the clip alone, so saying she consciously engineered the play specifically to secure a double-double goes further than the evidence allows. But visually, critics have an easy case to make. She needed one basket, the game was almost finished, she was ahead of the defense, the pass came, she scored, and suddenly a 9-point, 26-rebound night becomes an 11-point, 26-rebound double-double. The difference is only 2 points. Narratively, the difference is enormous.
Not playing a lick of defense, hanging out on the other side of the court to get an easy layup. Well, I guess no layup's really easy when it comes to Angel Reese, but as easy as it could possibly be just to get a double-double for your historic 26-rebound game. Then we have stat stuffer, Mr. Butter Pecan. He did a video going in depth into your rebounding. Are they ethical? Are they unethical? Did you even have to try for them? Are you stealing rebounds from teammates? Is Ryan Howard like this, waiting for the ball, and then out of nowhere you come, move, give me that shit?
That is why the presenter immediately connects cherry-picking, defense, and the double-double. And this is where we should separate what can be seen from what is being inferred. You can see Reese ahead of the play on that late possession. You can see that the basket secured double figures. You can argue that a player staying forward rather than fully participating defensively can create an easy scoring opportunity. What you cannot prove from that one clip is that she intentionally refused to defend solely because she knew she needed 2 points. That distinction matters because criticism gets weaker when it overstates the evidence. There is enough here to have the conversation without pretending we can read somebody's mind, and ironically, the strongest case against stat padding doesn't come from defending Reese personally. It comes from looking at how basketball statistics actually work. Players know their numbers, teams know their numbers, fans know their numbers. Late in games, somebody tries to get a teammate a triple-double. Somebody passes instead of shoots because another player is 1 assist away. Somebody stays in the game to reach 50. Somebody takes a final shot with the outcome decided. These debates have existed forever. The reason Reese receives unusually intense criticism is that double-doubles and rebounding have become central to the way she is evaluated. So when one appears to be secured in an awkward late-game sequence, critics treat it as confirmation of everything they already believed.
And a few of those were her being blocked. I was watching a Scap Attack video, and he said something along the lines of there were around 80 missed shots that whole entire game. 80 missed shots between those two teams. 78-71 barn burner. Out of 80 missed shots, somebody was guaranteed to rebound those basketballs, right? Somebody was guaranteed.
And then we get one final piece of context. Another commentator apparently estimated roughly 80 missed shots between the two teams. That figure is being repeated secondhand here, so I'm not treating it as an independently verified official total. But the point behind it is straightforward. A low-efficiency game creates rebound inventory. The more missed shots there are, the more rebounds exist for somebody to collect. That sounds like an obvious observation, but it matters when comparing performances across games. 26 rebounds in a game with a huge number of misses is not the same statistical environment as 26 rebounds in a game where both teams barely miss. Opportunity matters, minutes matter, opponent shooting matters, lineups matter, who crashes the offensive glass matters. And that context is exactly why one single number should never finish the analysis. But opportunity alone still doesn't guarantee production. Every missed shot creates a rebound for somebody, yes. It does not guarantee that one player gets 26 of them. That is the part critics can't erase. Angel Reese may have benefited from a favorable rebounding environment. She may have collected a significant number of uncontested balls. She may have had a late scoring possession that looked terrible from an optics standpoint. She still finished the night controlling an enormous share of the available rebounds. Both things can be true. And this is where I land on the ethical rebound debate. If Reese pushes somebody illegally and the officials miss it, criticize the contact. If she fails to get back on defense because she is hunting statistics, criticize the decision. If she forces bad shots trying to extend an individual streak or milestone, criticize the shot selection. If she cherry-picks during a nearly finished game to reach double figures, question the sportsmanship and the intent, while being honest that intent cannot be proven from a clip alone. But if four players simply stare at the basketball while Reese walks over and collects it, I cannot blame Reese for taking the rebound. That is not stat padding, that is everybody else failing to rebound. And if teammates repeatedly allow her to secure balls they could have taken themselves, there are only two realistic possibilities. Either that is part of the team's rebounding structure, or they know Reese is more aggressive pursuing the ball and allow her to finish the possession. Neither automatically means anything improper happened. What makes the 26 rebound performance fascinating is that it exposes how differently people define dominance. Some people see the record and say, 26 is 26, stop making excuses. Others watch the film and say, half of those rebounds looked like warm-ups. The truth is more uncomfortable for both sides. The record is legitimate, the film still matters. Reese deserves credit for consistently being around the basketball, because availability and positioning are part of rebounding. At the same time, nobody has to pretend every rebound was some heroic physical battle just because the final total broke a record. And the late basket deserves separate scrutiny, because unlike an uncontested rebound, that possession raises a real question about whether the milestone influenced how the final seconds were played. That is the distinction I think gets lost when this conversation becomes nothing but memes. Easy rebounds are still rebounds. Questionable late-game decisions are still questionable. And one does not prove the other. So now you have to pick a side. When you look at Angel Reese's 26 rebound 11-point double-double, do you see an elite rebounder taking everything the opponent gave her? Or do you see a historic stat line inflated by easy boards and a late basket that was clearly about protecting the double-double? Drop your answer in the comments, like the video if you want more film breakdowns like this, subscribe to the channel, and tell me which matters more to you, the box score or the tape.